soon everybody's in happy cheer. And I go, well, why would that be so important? I mean, I know we want to be happy, but really, what is the role? And he goes, well, you know, back to that hunchman, that hunchback. I go, oh, you mean Shane's character, Labasu. And he goes, yeah, Labasu. Labasu needs some cheer. And because it's so sad that Labasu would die in the play, something like the magical dust from the elf queen, Tracy Elf, has to be able to stay alive to keep the good cheer. Because after all, when everything is quiet and still, and people are remembering the story and the plot and the significance and the heavy burden of it all, that elf dust is going to go right across the stage, through the audience, and it's going to glitter the judge's papers. And you are going to have the elf fairy from the elf queen looking over your shoulder to give you excellent reviews. And I go, well, that's all great, Santa, but you know what? We have to get going here, because I said, it's like 3:10 a.m. in the morning, and I gotta teach tomorrow, this morning. It's this morning already. And he goes, all right, then we better get a cracking. And I go, so what was it that you wanted to talk about? I said, was it society? He goes, you keep bringing up society. You have a problem with society? I go, well, actually, I do have some issues. And he goes, well, let's go back in time. He goes, do you remember when you were a little boy? I go, I do. He goes, do you remember that it was fun? Did you like it when you were a little boy? And I said, oh, it was the best. You didn't have all these worries that you do today. All you had to do was think, what was I going to play with today when I got up? And he goes, exactly. And do you like Christmas? And I said, I love Christmas. And he goes, why did you like Christmas? And I said, well, for lots of things. But number one, because I was an animal lover. He goes, yes. I said, I like the reindeer. And he goes, yes, the reindeer. And what was so cool about the reindeer? And I said, they were just reindeer. They went across the sky. And people kept going, were reindeer real? Were reindeer not real? Do you feel reindeer have antlers? And I'd be like, those questions, yes, there were reindeer. Yes, Santa had reindeer. Yes, they went across the sky. Yes, they were real. And yes, female reindeer do have antlers. And he goes, yes. And who was your favorite reindeer? And of course, Mr. Elwell said, Rudolph. No, not Rudolph, because he always got too much attention.
Comet.
Prancer. Sounds good. But he was always dancing around, you know, he had ADHD or something like that. Comet, you would think from a science perspective, but no.
Dasher.
Dasher. It was an injustice to little Brian to think that Dasher was not the leader of the sleigh team. You know why? Because it was all about the reindeer, and the reindeer equivalated with speed. Dasher, who was the fastest, hence his name, Dasher, should have been out in the front leading that reindeer sleigh. And he goes, why did that irk you so much? And I go, because when I was a little boy looking out the window, waiting for Santa Claus and all his reindeer, there was no Dasher leading the way. I could have had my presents, opened them, played with them, even ate the cookies. But no, he wasn't even leaving the North Pole yet, because we had to wait for Rudolph, because everybody had to cheer for Rudolph and sing the Rudolph song so that he'd have the pep and the confidence to lead his sleigh tonight. No pun intended.
Ooh.
You need an actual red bulb. Get it, the nose.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny.
The Jacobson twins didn't get that one.
Ooh.
Things really do work in tandem.
Ooh.
Oh, anyway, story time. So Santa said, yes, it was Dasher. I go, Santa, wait, right there. That gives me a wonderful idea. And he goes, what is that? And I go, I have to whip up something really quick. And he goes, well, I thought you had to get to sleep. And I said, well, you kept me up all this time. I might as well just finish what I've got, because I've got a wonderful idea. And he goes, what's that? And I go, you'll see. So I'm whipping up my batches in the kitchen. And as I'm whipping them up, Santa's eating them up. And man, can that man eat. So every once in a while when he'd turn away, because he'd drink his cup of milk, I'd slip a few in the pail. And pretty soon, he was down to the last crumbs, and he ate the last one, and as he's eating the last one, he goes, he's a jolly guy. He goes, you know, this is a wonderful idea, and these treats were just scrumptious, but I thought you were going to be making them for your students. And I go, right, Santa, but you know, it's kind of hard to give them to the students when they're in somebody else's tummy. He goes, why? Have you been eating them? And I go, well, didn't you have a few? And he goes, oh, I just had a few. Maybe 1 or 2, 3 or 4. But I only had a few. And I go, well, I'm all done. And he goes, well, you have no treats to give to the children. And I go, well, then I guess I'll just have to make some in the morning. Now, did you have some other place that you had to get going to, Santa? And he goes, are you trying to get rid of me? And I go, no, Santa, but I thought maybe you had other people that you had to have a conference with. Because I said, you know, it is 3:50. You got here at 2? And he goes, you always keep track of time. And I go, yes, I keep reminding myself that I should be getting you a watch. And he goes, I have no need for watches. I don't wear a watch, and yet, impeccably, I'm always on time. I go, what? He goes, yes, I'm always on time. I guess you could say, I'm not governed by time. And I go, yes, Santa, that is true. You're not governed by time. But under my breath, I'm thinking, you so need a watch. You have no clue when it comes to time. Now, timeliness would be, I've made the hint, Santa needs to go so I can get to sleep, so I can recover what little bit of the night there is, so that I can give my treats to my students when I see them the next day after a busy day of teaching. Because after all, my day is not all roses. I have to teach those freshmen. Oops. I forgot to look. Are there any freshmen in here? No.
No.
Okay. Then I'm safe. So, guess what? I was able to recover a few. And you know what? Santas don't know everything. Because he wasn't aware that I had these. The rest of the treats. So, you get a treat if you can figure out what are the treats.
Reindeer pretzels.
See, you are much brighter than freshmen. They got it on the 24th try. So, you guys have little reindeer treats. However, I still have an angst with society. Because when I first used to make reindeer treats, they used to be pretzels this big. Now, everything gets smaller, but the price goes up. I always say, everything goes up, but my salary. And one day you too will come across that revelation. Now, here's our little reindeer treats, and you can not fault me for the fact that they look kind of like reindeer ants. Because I did not scale down their noses and their eyeballs to miniature M&Ms. Because I am making a statement against society. I was not the one who reduced the size of the pretzel in a half. Therefore, I do not feel that I have half a student body. I am not going to jeopardize the wonderful things that my students do by giving them half an M&M. So moral of the story is,
Society sucks.
watch out, because society will try to reduce your pretzels.